Hello, and welcome to episode 9. This is the Hello, It's Me, IAmKNicole podcast, and I am your host, Kori Nicole. So let's go ahead and jump into the recap. Last week, we talked about packaging and shipping tips. I also answered a lot of questions from the squad, you guys. I've been getting a lot of the same questions for a while, and I just wanted to kind of do like Q&A style. So I answered a lot of questions. We talked a lot about how to package, how to ship, what to use, where to shop. So make sure you check out that episode if you haven't seen or heard it already. Y'all, I have a new product on the way. Okay, it has been shipped. All right, I have information on tracking. Look, I'm so excited, can't even say it right. I'm excited, okay? I've been working on something really special for months now, you guys. It has been a long time, and it is finally on its way to me, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Also, Smudge turns 1 so soon. November 1st is my 1-year anniversary. We have about 8 days left. How crazy. I cannot believe that my first year in business is already almost done. What else is going on? All of my friends are like leveling up in life right now. Okay, so we've been celebrating new apartments. We've been celebrating new job opportunities. We've been celebrating birthdays and we're just celebrating life right now. Okay, so it's only up from here, and all of my friends are making me proud. I'm surrounding myself with people that are doing big things, so I'm really excited right now. Other than that, I've just been doing my normal routine, working, filming, editing. The Black Friday sale is going amazing, thanks to y'all. And we are still on the road to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have my 20K giveaway going on right now. So if you haven't seen that video on my channel or that post on my Instagram, make sure you go ahead and check that out. I will actually have that linked down below for you guys. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Like I just said, road to 20K, okay? And give this video a thumbs up. Also, follow me on all the podcast platforms and leave me a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Cozy season, y'all. Where my lip gloss at? Cozy season on the lips at all times, okay? It's now available. This is my first fall collection, so make sure you check it out. My shade Rosé is my breast cancer awareness gloss, and I'm donating 50% of the proceeds from that gloss specifically. So if you're only going to buy one, make sure you buy that one. It's bomb anyway. Crochet by K is in full effect, so make sure you're stocking up on your crochet fall pieces. We got shags and sweaters and a few new pieces coming soon. Lastly, you guys, make sure you are voting. I know that early voting is coming to an end today, wasn't it? Listen, make sure you know when you're voting. You need to go out, let your voice be heard. Your vote matters. Your vote counts. All right, so that is it for the recap. So I want to go ahead and introduce my guest for today. I'm really excited. I have my friend Drew here with me today. Drew and I are both SCAD grads. We were involved in the same club in college, so we have worked really closely together for a very long time, it feels like. Drew is an animator, so she has all of the creative juices for drawing and all of that stuff that I don't know how to do, okay? And Drew has also modeled for me for Crochet by K multiple times, so she's definitely a great friend to have close to me in the city. So let's give Drew a warm welcome. Hey, Drew.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, thank you for joining me. So I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell my viewers a little bit about you before we go ahead and get into today's topic.
Yeah, so I was born and raised here in Atlanta. Like Kori mentioned, we went to SCAD together in Savannah. I was just 1 year under her and Devin, but it was really great. It was such a fun time on BSA. So many struggles together. So much fun.
Yes.
So many good times. But yes, I am an animation major, and I graduated with the rest of the class of 2020 this past spring, and now I'm freelancing.
2020 graduate. Wow.
Interesting.
I know. We're gonna have to talk a little bit about that later. But today's topic is gonna be balance, chasing your dreams, life after college, creating an impact, and whatever else comes to our hearts and minds today. Because listen, y'all, we got our wine, okay? So that means that whatever we want to say, it's just gonna come out. No, I'm kidding. Y'all know how it gets when we start drinking our wine. So we're just going to have a good time today. So let's go ahead and get into the tea.
Yes.
So let's start out by talking about our experience in college. Okay, so we were both
Ooh.
involved in a club called the Black Student Association. Drew was the president of that club. I was the president of another club. So, we can kind of talk a little bit about how it is when you're still in school. I have a lot of followers right now that are younger and they're in school full time and they want to run a business. So I feel like, we can kind of give them a little bit of insight about how we balanced our lives when we still were full-time students. So yeah, what was that like for you when you were in school? How did you manage to find some sense of balance, especially as an animation major? We all know that animation was like the most time consuming, well, one of the most time consuming majors at SCAD.
Yeah, that was a really interesting time, especially because like when I came into college, I had the idea that I was gonna do like everything. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I joined BSA. I was like, oh my god, one day I want to be president. Like I, I had already
You
said
really
it.
did manifest that. I remember you saying that when I first met you. Like, wow.
Yeah, and then I had also been a part of like student ambassadors, and I was just kind of trying to get my hands in like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that was a lot. A lot of sleepless nights, especially as soon as we got into like our junior and senior year when
Mm-hmm.
things actually get tough.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think a lot of sacrifices have to be made. Like you have to decide what thing you want more. Like, do you just want to goof off all the time and just really go out,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or do you like want to actually ace your classes and get better and prioritize the things that are important? So it's definitely like it's like a make or break. Like you figure out how good you are at making decisions that's gonna mold you into shape.
Yes, absolutely. And I always tell people this. I'm like, listen, I have had so many sleepless nights, and I think people think I'm joking when I say that. I'm like, no, we're being serious. Like,
Yes.
we had nights where we did not sleep. And when I say we did not sleep, I mean, we did not get like 1 minute of sleep. We did not even lay our head on the pillow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do definitely have to make sacrifices for the things that you want because trying to do everything is like impossible. Like sometimes it's really hard to find that balance when you're doing so many different things that are equally as time consuming. Like
Definitely.
we're only human beings. We only have 24 hours in a day. So what you do with that time is totally up to you. And yeah, I chose not to sleep. I wanted to get everything done. I mean, and then sometimes we just really didn't have a choice.
But yeah, Kori was on another level in college. Like I'm not even like I talk about my journey. I'm not even a quarter of the way. Like I wasn't even as busy as she was during college. I don't know how you did that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I was in the moment, I wasn't really thinking about it so much. Like I just knew everything that I had to do and I was just so in it. I was so excited about mostly everything until it started to get a little tough. Then it's like, okay, we really just got to power through and get it done. But I think I was just like in la la land most of the time. Like we have all this stuff to do. I don't have time to think about how busy I really am, I guess. When you're living in it, it's just different. But I don't know why I felt like I wanted to bite off so much when I was in school.
Mm,
Like I just wanted to do everything.
yeah.
After, a quarter of doing nothing, I wanted to do everything after that. Because I didn't really do anything my first quarter at SCAD. I was just like, I'm not really feeling this
Yeah.
too much. I don't know what this really is. But yeah, I decided to just dive in and I was like, oh, I want to do this, this, this. Oh, I can do this too. Cool. Let me sign up for that. And then was like, wait, I still got to go to class too? Hold on.
Oh my gosh, class. Wow.
I still got to go to class, people. We still
That's
got homework to do when we get out of class, too.
and I think like we're both saying like, oh yeah, I really I wanted to prove I could do it. I want to do this. I want to do that. But that doesn't mean I never asked for help. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I asked for so much help like all the time. I was on the phone with multiple people,
Mm-hmm.
several hours. Like, I mean, you got to do what you need to because you can't do it all. You can't keep that all to yourself. Like, you got to delegate.
Yeah. I like that you said that because even in school, I struggled with that at first because I was not used to that. I was like always the one that, oh, I can just get it done. I'll figure it out. Very independent. I feel like that's because I'm an only child. Like I really didn't have someone else that was in the same boat as me that I could ask for help. So when it came to like, oh, I'm really not understanding in this class. What am I supposed to do? Like, I remember vividly, it was this African American literature class, and I promise you, it was an online class too. That was my
Yeah.
first and last online class. But I had never failed anything in my life. So it was just like to be failing a class for half the quarter, like got to midterm still failing. I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I had to reach out. Like, I had to get a tutor. I'm like, that is not anything that I would have ever done. And I'm like, girl, humble yourself. Okay, you need help. You need help. You can't do everything yourself. So I definitely did have to learn that in school. And now, even in my business, I'm like, I had to realize that I cannot run 2 businesses and a YouTube channel by myself. It's like not possible to still sleep too and to be on schedule and to be consistent with every single one of those things. Like, it's just not realistic at all. So I'm glad you said that, because realizing that you need help and then asking for it is really important.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's so intimidating.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm like,
I was just gonna say, it was like a little intimidating because like when you're in class, like the way that our classes are set up, it's like a teacher is running through a tutorial showing you how to do certain things, and they're just moving really fast. So it can be kind of nerve-wracking to be that person that interrupts the whole
Oh yeah,
flow.
to ask a question. Yes. Oh my gosh. Everyone would like be waiting until the end to like talk to the professor separately. I remember one of my professors actually addressed that.
Yeah.
She was like, can y'all just like ask questions while we're in class, like going over certain things? Like if I say something and you don't understand, please don't all like rush over to me at the end. That's so crazy. But sometimes, yeah, it is a little bit intimidating. Listen, I think I'm over that phase of life. If I don't get it, I'm going to ask you because I just don't have time.
Yeah.
I need the answers and I need them quickly. Literally.
Agreed.
So did you have any tools or like any systems that you use that kind of helped you to make sure you got everything done? Because I know everyone kind of functions differently.
I had to have a planner, and I don't mean like any type of electronic calendar. Like I have to write it down.
Yeah.
Because like typing, it doesn't work for me. Like I remember things when I write them down. Only thing I ever did digitally was set alarms. Like if I'm like, okay, like to remind myself I have to study at this time, I have class at this time, I have a meeting here. But that planner, oh my gosh, that thing was like stuffed by the end of the year with so many things.
Yeah, I literally just filmed a video because a lot of people are asking me like, how do I balance my life? How do you do this? How do you do that? So I'm like, listen, you got to write it down. You need to set alarms. You need a planner. You need a notebook. You need this, this, and this. Because that's how I function. Like my brain cannot handle all of the things that it needs to right now. So I'm like, if I don't write it down, baby girl, it's not getting done. I'm not even going to remember that it even existed until probably the day that it's supposed to be done. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Oh my gosh. Also, like organizing all your documents. Like, don't wait until the end of the quarter or semester to do that. Like, I would literally set up, like, on Google Drive, like, multiple folders. And every time that there was a new project or assignment, I separate them immediately. Because that is just so crazy to look at, like, last minute. Oh my gosh.
Being organized. Yeah, that's true. I feel like I'm all over the place sometimes, but then I'm still organized. It's like, I don't know. I kind of work with chaos sometimes. But yeah, that's a good point, especially if you're still in school. I tell people because they keep asking me too about like taxes and stuff like that. I'm like, if you don't do anything else, keep all of your receipts, keep all of your stuff organized, like all the things that you're purchasing, even if you're purchasing online. Just keep all that stuff somewhere so that you at least are doing your part, because I don't know anything else about doing taxes. I have a whole accountant. But yeah, see, it's the same thing. Whether you're in school, whether you're running a business, it all applies. So what was your experience like after graduating? Like, how do you feel like life after college is now versus how it was a few months ago?
I was really dramatic.
I can believe it.
After I graduated, I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? It wasn't that bad because I didn't really want to freelance because I was like, I want to work in a studio. That's what I want to do. But because of the pandemic, so many studios were like, hey, like, we want to work with you, but we're not taking on any permanent hires right now. So that's basically, I was like, all right, well, I don't have a choice. But yeah, I just started freelancing. And now that I'm doing it, I realize it's really not as bad as I thought it was.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm starting to understand. But yeah, I was in full panic mode when I should have just calmed down after I graduated.
Oh my gosh. Complete opposite. I was in full relaxation mode. I was like, I need a month to just find myself again, because I feel like by the end I was so lost. I was so spread thin. I was just like, listen, I need to snatch my life together and I need to learn how to relax again, and I need to just sleep. Like I need to make up for like months of missed sleep. So yeah. But then,
Yeah.
after that I was like, okay, so what's next?
Yeah.
What am I going to do now? So you said you wanted to work in a studio. That's kind of like tying into my next question of like, what is your dream job? Like, are you doing some of those things now, or do you have other goals that you're trying to reach in your career?
So my dream job would probably be to work at like a small animation studio or motion graphic studio. I say small because it's just a lot more intimate.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are spaces where you can really get your ideas heard and move up the hierarchy like a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Versus working somewhere bigger, like I mean, I'd love to, but somewhere like Cartoon Network where you're like 1 in 1,000, like
Yeah, that makes
employees.
sense.
So that's really what I want to do. Right now, I'm kind of on the stepping stone there. So I'm making the connections that will get me in the door, but I'm not quite there yet. I am working on some projects where I am animating, and I'm super excited about it. But right now, I'm doing mostly like freelancing, as in illustrating and like commissions and things like that.
Okay. Well, that's cool though, because I'm like, this girl, listen, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but this girl is doing some big things right now. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's switch gears a little bit. So like I mentioned earlier in your introduction, Drew has modeled for me before. Okay. So she has modeled some Crochet by K before. I have had to come find this girl. Like, listen, I need you to put this on. We got a fashion show. We got a photo shoot. We got to do all of this. So she actually modeled in my very first fashion show, like the first time that I kind of like put my work out there in front of people in Savannah. And this show was called Aesthetic, and it was really fun, very crazy, very non-traditional. So we literally had models on pedestals. Like we had them up on like platforms, I guess. So they weren't doing a runway walk. There was no catwalk. There was like none of that. I mean, y'all had to like walk out and step up. And it was really challenging for me as the designer. I'm like, okay, so my pieces usually have a lot of movement, but these pieces don't have a lot of movement. So I'm like, what am I supposed to have these girls up here doing for 6 minutes? Like people are going to be staring at them. Like, what are they going to do? Y'all, we had a full routine. Like
Kori had us doing a whole choreography.
A whole dance routine. I was like, I have never done anything like this in my life, but it was just so crazy to experience something like that, like to really push my creativity. I had other people that were helping me because I was like, listen, I don't have time to really choreograph a whole show, like a whole 6 minutes. Like 6 minutes might not sound like a long time until you try to do 8 counts and then you're like, wait,
yes,
this is a lot. So I literally just kind of threw you in there. Like, I need you, girl. I was like getting anybody that I could. So was modeling really anything that you ever were interested in, or did I kind of just like throw you into something really crazy?
I think very briefly I had an opportunity to like model. It did not turn out the way I thought it would.
Oh my gosh.
But it wasn't something I was opposed to. And when I say model, I don't mean like any type of runway. I mean like a Target ad. Like
okay,
yeah, like something like that. But it was a lot of fun. Like the energy of the crowd was amazing. And so many of my friends from like high school were like, oh my gosh, like, is this what art school is like? Like, what are you guys doing?
Is this what art school is like? I can imagine like people actually saying that.
It was really fun. I enjoyed it. So
it was really nice. Like to look back on it, I was like, wow, we really kind of pulled that off. And it was kind of last minute too. It was like, look, I was like, I need them to have time to practice on these platforms. Like we really didn't have much of an understanding ahead of time of like what the set was going to look like. So me as a designer, as the creative, they're looking at me for answers. I'm like, I'm looking at my other team for answers. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, it was definitely an experience for the books. Drew was also in Worlds Collide Part 1. Okay, so listen. Worlds Collide was a journey for me. Like a whole journey. And Devin. Hey, Devin. You too. So yeah. That was iconic, huh? Like the pictures.
Ooh, the makeup.
The makeup.
Yes.
I still have video footage from the show. I think we recorded the whole show, didn't we? I think we did.
You talking about the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have that, right? I've been like planning this throwback series for my channel because I'm like, I have so much content. I have so much content, especially like from BSA stuff, like just from my daily life. Like I was vlogging almost every single day and just not having time to like edit those videos and put them up. So I'm like, it would be fun to like take a walk down memory lane and like put out some of that footage, like some of the behind the scenes. That was like the most stressful thing. I felt like that was my Beyonce homecoming. Like when she was like, she would never push herself like that again. That's how I was feeling at the end of Worlds Collide. Like it was all worth it. Everything was beautiful. Everyone had a great time, but I would never do that again. Like when it comes to the timeline and everything, no. I need more time. I need a plan. I need to pull a Beyonce. I need 8 months of planning and working and everything. But yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. Drew has been, she's been here through some wild times.
It was really fun. I mean, the whole time during the show, I was like, oh, like I really want to help Kori. I don't know what to do. So we were just standing in the back, like, because the room was kind of small, but there was like a section with the models and then Kori and all her outfits. We were just kind of like trying to like stay hidden, like behind the curtains.
I was crying. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm not finished. This is not how I wanted this to be. I was like, oh God, I was emotional. Okay. And I was like, there's going to be so many people here. I wanted to finish this dress, y'all. Like, why did anyone tell me that I need to do this ruffled dress all the way down to the ground? Like, making it literally with my 2 hands and then having to go back around to do all the ruffles. And I was not done with the ruffles. And I was like, there's no way. It was taking me like an hour just to do 1 round around the skirt. Damn. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. There were so many stitches. Like, it just was crazy. But you can do anything you put your mind to. And sometimes you have to let go and let God, because literally I worked up until the show started. Luckily, we had other entertainment and things happening to the point where I did not have to, be out and about mingling and mixing with people right away. But I worked up until the very last deadline, still wasn't done, had to sit down and stop working to get my makeup done. I was like crying through that because I'm like, no, I could still be working. I'm like, girl, if you don't just sit back and relax and just let it go. Like, nobody knew. They loved it. They're like, nobody knew that I didn't finish, They
had no idea.
Sometimes it's a mental thing. And sometimes you're just like in your own head. And I was definitely in my own head for sure.
Turned out amazing.
Thank you. All right. So we are going to switch gears a little bit and we're going to talk about where you are now. We talked a little bit about how you're freelancing and everything, but let's really talk about what freelance life is like, because I've definitely been there and I don't know if anyone out there is doing it or interested in doing it, but I have definitely been in that spot too. So what's it been like? Especially now we're in a pandemic. That's crazy.
Well, it forced me to grow up. That's for sure.
Screaming.
Because
grow up.
I don't mind doing it. I just don't want to do it forever. And the reason for that is basically like things like you don't have benefits. Like, if you want insurance and all that kind of stuff, you have to pay for it. So
right.
And then, figuring out the price point, it took me so long to figure out how to do that. And to realize that you're not just charging people for the service, but like for your standard of living, so you can survive.
Yeah.
Like not just rent and utilities, but like I have contacts and like them things is expensive. I gotta pay for that. But there's been a lot of really good resources coming out because of the pandemic. Like, for example, one of my friends put me onto the Lightbox Expo, which is like this big conference full of like a ton of visual artists. And before, it was really exclusive. You had to pay so much just to get in. But because of the pandemic, they were like, okay, just pay $1 and it's all virtual.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I joined and got to see a lot of these famous like Instagram artists that I followed that gave me like amazing advice on like how to do taxes and how to freelance and survive. Yeah, I don't think I would have known that on my own. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff they were telling me. So I'm I'm doing well. I'm still learning. Like I don't know everything, but I'm at this point I'm just like, okay, I'm used to the idea that I'm going to not know something and I don't need to forget once I figure that out. So
Yeah. What are like, how do you have to put yourself out there, like, so that people can know, like, you're looking for work, or, like, how does that work for you?
Almost like every way possible.
I'm
Like
every way. I'm on every website there is.
like Instagram and Twitter, like posting
Mm.
on Instagram consistently is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Like understanding the use of hashtags, having your branding together, because I think like a lot of the mistakes that people make when they're starting off is, oh, I want to have all these different things. I'm like, no, like your business card, your Instagram, your website, your resume, cover letter, it needs to look the same, because once you make it, nobody knows who you are. So like that's how they recognize you. Word of mouth, and then also sometimes you're gonna get paid for projects that you don't find that exciting and you're like, I don't want to do that, but I mean that's really how you get into it. Like sometimes you're gonna have to draw a portrait of your neighbor's kids. You don't want to do it, but that's what gets your name out there. So I just started taking like all those gigs and stuff, and people started noticing, so that's been really great.
I do remember you're like, I'm more into like, was it murals or something? I was like, what are you saying?
Yeah, somebody commissioned me. It's actually a family member. She commissioned me to do a mural, and I was like, well, I've never done this before, but
Drew was like, I'm full blown like painting and like doing all this. I was like, okay.
It turned out surprisingly well.
Yes, it did. That's why I was like, okay, Drew, you might mess around and surprise yourself. You might not want to do something, or you never done it and you never knew that you needed to do it. Like,
definitely. Yeah, don't block your blessings.
That is so crazy. So you have some things going on right now. You got some stuff going on, and we got to talk about it because you're out here working with big people. Drew, what is going on? I got to get my wine for this one.
Well, the biggest client that I have, I guess, is I work for the Instagram account of the show Desus and Muro on Showtime. It's a late night comedy show, and it's really good. And I was really surprised because the way I got that was from Instagram. Like this guy DM'd me. And I thought it was like spam at the time. It turned out he was like the head of their graphics department. And he was like, yo, like, we just got this new budget and we want to add some like really cool pieces to our Instagram account. So that's kind of how that started. But it was a really, really great opportunity that I am so thankful to have because I'm still making work for the show. And I love it because every time they post, like not only do I get paid for the post, but I get the exposure too. And a lot of the followers that are on their account then come over to mine. So it's been really cool and just a surreal experience.
I am so proud of you. When I saw that, my mouth literally dropped and I was like, wait until Devin sees this. Devin, I was like, Devin, when you see this, I was like, Devin, did you see this? Because
I saw it as soon as she posted it. I was like, what?
What's going on?
That is like Devin's
I followed them.
show.
Like I've been following them since like 2015, like back in high school. So and I followed Instagram too, and I saw the picture and I was like, this looked familiar. Then I saw the description. I was like, Drew Borders. What?
Wait a minute. No, it's really like the guy that I work with. His name is Patrick Kim, and he worked at Vice and Complex for like a good number of years before he went to Showtime. But he was so chill because the whole idea about it was that he wanted artists that hadn't been seen before, like artists that had just graduated or might have still been in high school and had a spark, had something, but he was like, they just don't have an audience yet. So that was the whole idea behind it. And even when I make work for them, like it's a general idea, but he was like, I want you to do your thing, like it's your style. So it's definitely like the most freedom I've ever had with like a freelance opportunity.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I feel like a lot of people like in these offices now are kind of getting that idea that like younger people or like people that's just now like fresh and starting out have like more energy and like care about the work more than like people that are more established. Because like people that are more established, they'll just like, I guess they're like kind of used to doing the work and everything, and like people like us, we're like trying to make a name for ourselves, and so we're trying to like put our best foot forward. And I feel like a lot of people are seeing that in like college graduates and students, stuff like that now.
Yes, got something to prove.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been so much. I just can't wait. Like, I try to do it in a way that I'm like, oh, can I get their attention? Like, actually, these in mural, like, can they say something? I'm really trying to get their attention.
Have they commented yet?
Not yet, but sometimes I get messages like, never specifically from them, but from the guy that I work with, and he's like, yo, they really like this. Or
I'm pretty sure like the stuff that you make is like, it's them. And so I'm pretty sure they appreciate it. Yeah.
Literally. I was like, this is so
like the
good.
references and everything. Like, yeah.
Wow. So I'm glad you said that, because I also had another question for your field specifically. What are some things that you have to do in order to stand out and kind of make an impact? Like, I find it, I don't believe like in coincidences. I know everything happens for a reason. So I'm like, there was no accident that they stumbled upon you on Instagram, but with your work and like with your branding or with the things that you post or whatever the case may be, what are some things that you feel like you have to do in order to like make yourself pop?
Well, I think so a lot of people will have like a portfolio, and it's called like a demo reel for animation. But mine is like a minute long. It shouldn't be that long. But basically, there's like basic things that recruiters and people look for in your reel, like walk cycles, lip sync, any type of action. And everybody kind of has the same generic thing, but like what makes you stand out is when you put your own twist on it. Like, don't just have someone like walking down a street or doing whatever. Like, have someone like skateboarding and just like crash like it doesn't wipe out, or like do something different. Like even at SCAD, like we would look through reels with like our career advisors, and some recruiter was like, I loved this reel because like for 3D animation, you can, rigging is like when you build the skeleton and the controls of the character. And they were like, this person rigged a couch. Like they built all these controls for a couch, and the couch was actually talking and acting and moving like a person. So like when you put your personality and stuff into something that people aren't expecting, like that's like, whoa, because they look at so many kids a day, and it's like all the same stuff. So like really, it's really just about your passion. Like don't just do a project because you were told to or because you thought you should. Like actually be passionate about it, because it's going to show through.
Yeah, we talked about passion in one of these episodes. Like if you're not passionate about it, people will definitely be able to tell, because it's not genuine. Like we can almost tell that you're being forced to do something at that point. But yeah, that's really cool. I'd like to see your reel. I don't think I've seen it. Did I see it?
It's on my Instagram. I need to update it because it's kind of old. That's another thing. Update your reel. Oh my gosh, every time you can.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen your reel, but I've seen the stuff that you're posting, especially the spooky season stuff. Ooh, I'm really feeling it. I'm like, okay, Drew is out here popping out. I need to get like her with the consistency on my personal page.
I'm trying to do Blacktober, which is like a spinoff of Inktober. It's like a daily art challenge. Well, you are supposed to post every day, but there is definitely like a new wave of artists being like, look, you got a life, you got work, you got all this other stuff. You don't have to take care of yourself. So I have been kind of following that mantra and like trying to post when I can. But like, look, if I want to relax, if I just need some time to myself, I'm not going to push it too hard. Like, I'm like, okay, I need that. Like, I feel like sometimes when you push yourself too hard to come out with something, you won't be too satisfied. So I'd rather it come to me organically.
I like that. I like that a lot. Give yourself time to relax. That is something that I'm still working on, but I've been doing pretty good with it. So I'm not at all mad at myself. So has this time that we're living in right now, the pandemic, has that really affected your workload in any way? Because I know people are like getting laid off, budgets are getting cut, crazy stuff is going on. But then again, I feel like more media, like they're putting out more media, they're looking for new things to post, new content to post. So it could have been the complete opposite experience for you.
Well, it's been really sporadic because when it first started, it was like dead silent because nobody knew what to do. They were like, how do we continue this process? Like how do we continue to work with artists and they can't even come in the studio? So, but now that we're months in, people have started to figure it out. And even now I'm in like Slack group chats for like Black animators and Black designers. And a lot of the work sometimes that I get comes from there because people will post job inquiries because companies want a different perspective. So, so it's definitely been getting bigger, I guess. It's growing.
Right.
But yeah, at first I was like, woof, it's a little quiet over here. But I'm blessed. I am happy that I'm getting all these opportunities.
That's good. I know, like, I was freaking out when this stuff started happening because I didn't know what was going on. I was working in an office with so many people. I was just like, oh my God, like I have to go somewhere every single day and be around all these people. I know that's not going to last for too long if everything is shutting down. And then, yeah, everything shut down. And I was like, ooh, what am I going to do next? But I feel like it really gave me the push that I needed to focus on my business, like focus on the things that make me happy, the things that I really want to do, because we're literally sitting at home.
Yes.
Every day, all day. Now, it's a little different. We can move around just a little bit, but still, I feel like it's just never going to feel the same.
Yeah, it's so much freedom right now. And like when this thing eventually ends, yeah, it's not going to be the same. Like there's no like working from home should be a normal thing now.
Right. Like
there's no excuses to say that you can't do that because obviously we made it work. So
we were forced to make it work. How about mentally? Like mentally and physically? I mean, listen, I might have gained a few pounds. Okay.
I know I have. I already know.
I might have gained a few pounds during this little thing called the pandemic. But I mean, listen, you got to do what you got to do.
It's been very, like, I feel like self-love has been practiced so much during this pandemic. And not only just, but like acceptance, because I feel like going out all the time before, I was so concerned about what I looked like and if I was like wearing the right clothes or if it was fitting right or, if my makeup was correct. And like now I've just kind of accepted myself for who I am. Like I gained a few pounds and like
and what?
And that's
and
what
I
it
still
is.
Look good. Okay.
Like I just feel like I don't know. At least for me, the confidence is different because it's like when you aren't interacting with random people you don't know, like all the time, it's like their opinions don't matter anymore. You've just been with yourself for so long. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, I definitely felt that when I was deciding that I wanted to start making more content and I wanted to be like very open and very transparent with my content. And I was just like, listen, this is how I look. Like, this is what I look like without all the makeup, without the hair. I just recently cut all my hair off. Okay, I'm bald. Okay.
It was a nice cut.
I was like, I just feel like any other time, like I would not have been that confident to put myself out there like that or to just, be carefree. Like, this is who I am. I understand some people are not going to like it, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here for the people that are supporting me. I'm here for myself, So I was doing that. I was posting so many videos because once I got laid off from work, I was like, okay, so YouTube, Smudge, and Crochet by K is all that I have left. Like, people are obviously not hiring at this time. So it wasn't like okay, well, I can just look for another job. Like, no, it was like, okay, sit down and work on the things that you've already started.
Yeah.
And your girl was putting herself out there. Okay. I was looking crazy. Like, I look back now and I'm just like, girl, I don't even care. That's what I look like. And that's it.
Yeah.
Period.
I think now it's not just about going to work and getting a paycheck, but it's about actually being happy with what you do and like pursuing your dreams. And I think if you could say anything good came out of this pandemic, I'd say it'd be that.
For sure. like, and I always say this, I'm like, it's so bittersweet. This year is just a bittersweet year because I've been doing really well, and I'm grateful because I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, we're going into this time where everyone's wearing masks. We can't really go anywhere. And my whole business is associated with, oh, we're going out. We're doing our makeup. You know, like these are all products that people are using for that purpose. I mean, some people wear lip gloss every day. Some people, you know, put lashes on every single day. Some people put on their makeup to go nowhere. But that's not a large percentage of the people out there. So I was just like, oh my God, like nobody is going to want to buy lip gloss and then put a mask on. But listen, they are. And I'm just like, you know, you just never know what's going to happen. And you might end up somewhere you had no idea.
Sure.
So how do you feel like you have grown or bettered yourself or your craft since graduating?
I think I've become a lot more critical of myself, like, because now it's just me and there's like nobody else in my household that has any idea like what I do. So like,
oh my gosh,
most of the time that I'm working, it's really just my eye, and I do try to send things to friends that I graduated with, like, can you take some time at this? But it's kind of really forced me to be more like, I'm kind of going back to the roots and the old textbooks that I actually still saved and looked at, and reaching out to older professors and stuff. So I feel like I've definitely gotten like a more critical eye on how I work, and sometimes that's a blessing and sometimes it's not. Because
overthinking.
I'll be so critical of stuff like that I won't post it because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not happy with it, I don't want to put it out yet. But I would say, as far as like the actual work that I get paid for, like, yeah, it's definitely helped me become a more disciplined person, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. And I really wanted to ask you another question. I didn't even write this question down, but I thought about it earlier. So what was it like when you were still in school and you were a president? Like, you literally like call the shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in charge. And that's kind of how it is when you're a business owner or when you are freelancing and you're kind of like building your own brand. Like, you basically kind of call the shots on how you set things up. So what was that like for you? I can talk about what it was like for me too, but I want to know about you first.
A humbling experience, first of all, because I mean, it was something like I had wanted to do it since I was a freshman, and I had all these ideas, and I was like, oh, like, I'm gonna do this, this, and this.
Yes.
And then you get there and you realize how it actually works, and you're like, oh. And like, I think I became so much more appreciative of like the work that the previous presidents did, because I was like, I didn't even know that they had to do that. I didn't even know that there were all these issues that you had to think about. And then not comparing myself to like other people, like, am I leading as well as they were? Are people liking the decisions I make? But I think the thing that really helped me through that was like the previous president, Kori Nicole. She was like, you know, everyone is going to judge you and like about everything you do, but ask them to do it better, because they won't. Like, I feel like people always got an opinion, but once you give them the mic, they're quiet. So, you know, you do the best that you can, and you shouldn't always worry about what everyone who's criticizing you is saying.
She said, you try to do it better. People always have something to say. People will always have something to say. And I try to let people know that, like, if you're going to get into anything, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, if you open yourself up to the world, like, you're opening yourself up to that judgment. People are going to feel like they can voice their opinions with you. They can say whatever they want to say over the internet or, you know, quietly to the side, never out in the open.
Yes.
They always want to say things, but I think you did a really great job. And I think, you know, with the given circumstances too, like, you really rocked it out. I remember when we came down there and y'all were doing LCE, I was like, oh, we had this event every year, you guys, Lights, Camera, Excellence, a huge showcase for Black History Month. And I was like, we are going, Devin, me and you are going. It doesn't matter. We graduated last year. We're going to go. I'm not going to miss the next one. Got to see all my babies do their thing. Okay. But when I got there, I was like, I instantly am taking on the stress of everybody in this room. Like, because I've been here. I have been through this. Like, I know what y'all are going through. So I just feel like we just jumped right on in. Like,
yeah, y'all were clutch, because I don't even understand how we made it through that day. Like, we were so stressed. Like, I had never been so stressed to the point that I couldn't eat. Like, that was the first time that had ever happened. And, like, the weeks leading up to the show, day of, I just couldn't eat. And Kori was like,
girl,
Kori's trying to feed me these wings. I was like, I can't eat that.
I was like, she's making me nervous because she's not ever going to not eat. Okay. So I was like, what's going on? Are you okay? I was like, I need you to calm down because I need you to eat something.
It was just so, because I remember, like, one of the, like, Christine, who was helping me, who was working with me, like, she had gotten us, or somebody had gotten us, like, chicken biscuits, and I literally took, like, one bite, and I was like, I'm full. Like, I'm not hungry anymore.
That's a level of stress you don't ever want to get to when you just don't want food. Like,
never again.
Your body is, like, rejecting it. It doesn't even want it. You don't want to be there.
Like, but the peace, though, like, the calm when the show was over. And we were like, oh, let's go home.
Let's go home. It was good. I was like, listen, it went well. A lot of times we just have that built up anxiety. Like, we're so anxious to, like, do something, and we know that it's really not what we want to do, or it doesn't look how we want it to look. But then nobody knows that, y'all. Like, it's always just the behind the scenes. Like, those are the only people that know the struggle that we really went through to do certain things. So we can make it look like anything.
Very true.
And it looked good, you know? Yeah. I walks down memory lane. I just love doing it. I love going back and thinking about the stuff. I don't want to go back physically, but I'm like, I just like to go back and think about it. I'm glad I still have all that footage, y'all.
Yeah. It is so fun to think about it, like, to remember. It's just not fun during, but
right. I'm like, it was all fun and games after. We looking back now, we die laughing, but it's no. At the moment, we all wanted to just curse each other out, throw in the towel, and we're like, we can't even do that. Like, we can't.
And suck up them tears and just get through it. Honestly, just finish. Just finish. That's all that matters. So
whatever you start, try to finish it. I know it's, like, tough times right now, but we got to do what we got to do. I always say that. I'm like, we just got to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
And keep it pushing.
So grateful to everybody who helped. Oh my gosh. Grateful to y'all for coming to help me. Like, grateful to all the alumni, really, and the people that were still there and were like, no, I'm going to stay here with you.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah. So Gerard called me the other day.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was calling me about Devin.
Ooh.
Hey, Devin. He is, like, working with Devin on a project. They're working on something, and, you know, he has this joke that I'm Devin's manager, right? I think it's funny, but I was sitting next to my mom when he called, and I was just like, oh my gosh, Gerard Wheeler is calling me? What is this about? And when I got off the phone, my mom was just like, oh my God, like, you really have people that if you need help, like, you can just call on them. Like, it doesn't matter if they're states away or whatever. Like, you can literally pick up the phone and call someone and they will help you. And I was like, that is the beauty of creating these relationships, creating those bonds, and, like, going through that struggle together. I'm like, we would do anything for each other. You know, like, if we need help, we know we can call each other and get help. And when she said that, I was just like, dang, like, you're right. I know, like, some people didn't have that, you know, when they went to school, or once you graduate, it's like, peace out.
Delete my number.
Please, don't call me again. Don't call me again. And I don't know. I just feel like I was so invested when we were there into this club that I'm still attached to it. Like, all of us are still attached to it. All of us are still, like, actively helping with things that are going on now too. So I'm just like, I feel like I'm still in school sometimes. Yeah. But I love y'all. I did not mean to go off on a tangent like that, but that's what happens when, you know, the wine starts talking.
It was a good memory.
It was a good memory. So at the end of our shows, you know, we have questions from the squad. So I'm going to go ahead and let us get into those, because we have some good questions here. And I know that this is going to spark, like, other topics as well. So Devin, how about we go ahead and get into some questions?
Cool. So the first question is, do you think manifestation is real?
I didn't used to, But then you got this apartment, and I was like, oh.
I'm weak.
Like, because Kori, like, the story of how you made it here, I'm like, well, dang, maybe I should be more confident in myself. Because I just really, I don't know, I think before I had always thought, well, if it happens, it happens. But now I'm like, no, like, it's an attitude thing. Like, it's not just like your work, but you have to want it. Like, you have to believe in yourself. You can't just close your eyes and hope you get there.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think manifestation is real. Like you said, this is proof right here. The proof is in the pudding. Okay. I mean, I see so many people on social media, like, they're talking about, oh, you can manifest, money, you can manifest nice things, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I never really thought about it like that, but just the things that I want in life for myself, the things that I want for my business, I'm like, I'm always like trying to put good energy out there and speak it into the atmosphere. Once you say something, it's real now. So you just gotta be in alignment so that you can receive it.
Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely you can't just hope and pray and dream and wish, because I have a lot of followers now that mistakenly use those terms. Like when they're talking, they're like, oh, I hope my business will be as big as yours one day, or oh, I hope I'm going to be like you one day. And I'm like, okay, but are you actually putting in the same amount of work that I'm putting in? Like, is your work ethic matching mine? Are you putting out the same kind of quality that I'm doing? Like, if everything is not adding up, you can hope, wish, dream all day, and it's just not going to be the same. So I definitely think manifestation is real. And I have really been working on my mindset, like just trying to stay in a positive mindset, because your thoughts are powerful, man. Yes. I realized that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely did realize that. And I'm like, girl, don't be subconsciously thinking negative thoughts and then like your whole day is bad the next day. And I'm like, this cannot be an accident that this just happened. So yeah, I think manifestation is definitely real, and it's something that you should practice. Like, it's a mindset thing. Get your mindset together, and then get your work ethic together, and then everything will fall in line. Write goals down, like put that stuff out there.
Cool. So the second question is, what do you think about having a business partner? Is it wrong to want to be anonymous in your business?
I think that's more for you. She
said, I think that one's for you. I think that a business partner, I mean, it just depends. Like for me, I would only go into business with someone that I know is going to be a good fit for me. And most of the time that is like my family. So like right now, I would consider me and my mom business partners. Like she helps me, I help her. And I just know, like, I would never go into business with someone that I didn't know what their intentions were. Like, I know that my mom is always going to have my best interest. So that's why I don't have a problem with being in business with my mom, but I just would not be like, oh my God, me and Drew are like best friends, so me and her gonna start a business together. Like, no, you really can't mix business with pleasure all the time. It just doesn't work like that. So I would not recommend like going into business with a friend or like someone that you haven't known your whole life or who hasn't known you their whole life. I don't think it's a bad thing to have a business partner, because I know like I said earlier, sometimes it's just really hard. Like you can't do everything yourself, but it really has to be somebody that you can trust. Like we're talking about money, we're talking about investing, we're talking about your brand, your reputation, your appearance. We're talking about all of that stuff. So you really got to make sure it's somebody that you trust and somebody that is going to do right by you, essentially. Is it wrong to be anonymous in your business? I don't think so. There's a lot of businesses out there that have silent partners, honey. Like, we don't know. Like, we don't know about everyone that is in a business. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think right now, everyone kind of feels like they have to be the face of their business because, you know, I'm doing it and people that I know are doing it. And kind of when you create something and you build it from the ground up, you feel like you have to be the face, but some businesses don't have faces attached to them. So I feel like it just kind of depends on what kind of business it is. But yeah, I don't think it's wrong. I think it's definitely a personal preference. And if you're not going to be the face of it, or if you don't want people to know that you're the one that's running the business, then you would just have to figure out how you're going to market that. How are you going to promote? Who's going to be in the pictures? What's the content going to look like? Who's going to post the content? Like, are you going to have someone managing the social media so that it's not attached to you, I guess? So, yeah, no, I don't think that it's a bad thing, but I think it could be kind of challenging depending on what kind of business it is.
No, well said.
Cool.
Thank you.
And
The
then,
wine talking, promise.
And the next question is, how do you determine a price for your services, Drew?
For you, not me. Your turn.
So I did touch on this a little bit earlier, but you really, okay, so think about it. How much time you got to spend on something, because I like to do hourly rates, and quite recently I've started to just do day rates because that's easier. But
Wow.
I see a lot of people like doing like, oh, I don't know, 15, that feels like a lot, whatever. That's really low, actually. Like 25 is the basic, like an hour. That's what I have decided, because once you get to a certain point with your craft and you're skilled, even like, especially like, you've gone to college and you have a degree, you're not a kid anymore. Like, you're a professional and people need to know that about you. So I would say start there. And even talking to freelancers that actually have made it and are doing really big things, I found out that my rate at the time was really low, because he was like, no, I would go up to 35 or 40. Because really, you do have to think about, freelancing, you got to pay for your insurance, you got to do taxes, you got to do rent. Oh, what about accidents? Like, all types of things. So real people who are serious about working with you, they're not going to trip about the price. Like, the people that are like, oh, that's too expensive for me, that's whatever. All right, well, good luck to you. Find somebody else. But like, I know how much work this takes. I know how long it's going to take me, and I'm going to deliver you quality. So like, the price is the price. Like, stay professional and just don't bend, because people will really try to scam you. And I see artists, like, that makes me so sad. I see artists doing animations like 30-second, minute, and they be getting like $10 for that.
For the whole thing?
Yes, like, I see that all the time, and they're like,
y'all saw me lean. I was like,
people charge $100 a minute, man.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Like, it is so crazy to me. But they'll be like, oh, but I'm still in high school. No, that person is using you.
Right.
Like, you don't need to be doing weeks worth of work and you not even making like $50. Like, that's crazy. Oh my gosh.
$10. That just made my heart drop, I think. I was like, wait, what?
Like, you guys have heard of Fiverr, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that
Yes.
place is like, get freelance work for super cheap. There's so many gigs on there of like super talented people, and it'd be like $25.
That's
like
crazy.
$10 for the whole thing. That's wild. Like, seriously, real people, real professionals, they're not gonna budge. They're not gonna get upset with you or cause a fit just because you told them the price. Like, just be polite, be professional.
Yeah, and like she said, we're not lowering our prices for anyone's budget, okay? Like, no. The price is solid, we're firm. That's what it is.
Oh, and every time that you hit a milestone, like you do a big project or whatever, basically something that just raises your status, raise your price. Don't keep it the same. Because, like, you're like, look, I already worked with these people. Like, it's not the same anymore.
And that's on period. Raise the price. Get your coin, sis.
Yes.
And also, like, when your quality gets better too. Like, when you know your quality is better than last year or something like that, then go ahead, raise that price too.
Yeah, Devin, why don't you chime in on that, sir?
I mean, I've been freelancing since...
Why don't you chime in on that, sir?
Freshman year, man. And so, I mean,
music video director.
Music videos is different. Like, that's a whole different game. Because it's like, a lot of people are doing it. Not a lot of people are doing it, like, to the professional level. And so, like, a lot of people's prices are, like, super low. So, like, people would charge, like, $150 for a music video. And, like, and, like, industry standard, like, at least $10,000 for a music video. And, like, people don't understand, like, the pricing of, like, creative work, I guess. They think you just, like, point a camera at them and then you send it back.
And then it's done.
Yeah, like, people don't understand, like especially for good music videos, you need to pay, like, a crew, locations, the time, the equipment, and everything like that. And people don't, like, factor in that type of thing. And so I get a lot of feedback when I send my prices out sometimes.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know if you have this. I don't know if you had this before, but like somebody will ask you to do something, you'll send the price, and they just like stop texting you back.
Ghosted.
Oh my God, yes.
Ghosted. I'm like, you get a lot of feedback. I'm like, left on red. Like, what are you talking about?
All the time. I'm like, all right, have a nice day. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah,
right. Thank you for, wasting my time a little bit.
And I do appreciate the people that like let me know up front, like this is not our budget right now, but thank you for the offer. And I'm like, all right, I appreciate that too. So like, you're not wasting anybody's time. Like that's the thing. So like, you don't have to go through like a whole idea process, and then you get to the payment part, and they're like, man, I don't know about this. I'm like, bruh, you already knew.
Mm-hmm.
The struggles of being a freelance. But like you said, freelance is like, it's a very great opportunity, like a lot of freedom to do like the work that you want to do.
Yeah. Like you can choose the projects. Like if you're not excited about something, you're like, I'll pass on that. But like you could pick what you want to do. If you're stressed and you want to take a break, you can go ahead and take a break, especially if you've got like a part-time job that still keeps the money coming.
Exactly.
But like the reason I switched to like day rates was because like I did it hourly, and then people would be like, okay, well, can you only work on this for like 3 hours? And you only work on this for like 5 hours.
It don't work like
It's
that.
going to take me the time that it's going to take me. Like,
so I'm just like, look, 3 days, because I hate when you get bothered constantly. Are you done yet? It's been 3 hours. I haven't heard anything from you. Are you done?
My goodness.
It's so annoying.
You just reminded me of something that I need to address right now. I need answers. Somebody please help me understand. So why is it that people will place an order on my website, right? And then they'll get their shipping confirmation. I mean, their order confirmation, right? And they're emailing me like a few days later, like, hey, I was just checking on the status of my order. I didn't hear anything back. So I was just trying to see, what's going on. And I'm just like, did you not get your order confirmation? Because if you place an order and you don't get your confirmation, that's an issue, right? So maybe you typed in your email wrong, so I can resend the confirmation. But if you place an order, you got your order confirmation, and you're still saying that you didn't hear anything back from me, like what else are y'all expecting to hear from me? Because if you order on anybody else's website and you check out, you get your confirmation, there's not somebody from Fashion Nova, there's not somebody from Kylie or Fenty that's like checking in with you every 2-3 days about your order being processing. Or am I crazy?
Like I said before, like a lot of people, they don't understand like the creative process or like things like this. They just hire people because they can't do it themselves. And so like with that, and I feel like things like this podcasting and things like that are like behind the scenes, like that really shows people like the work and everything else that goes into it besides just, I'm paying you to do this and I need it by this time or whatever. And so like things like this and like explaining the process and explaining everything that has to happen with like shipping and all of that and like paying for shipping and like the weight of the packages and stuff like that. People don't understand that. People and like things like this, I feel like more people should do like behind the scenes of what they have to go through to provide their service to the people. So
yeah, I get that. But like when you have all your processing times listed out, like everything is like clearly out there.
I mean, at that point, it's just on them. Like,
in the open.
You put all the instructions in the email and everything.
Everything
on the website.
is on the website. The processing time. I even had to move, like not move, but I added my processing time to checkout. Like you have to agree to the terms and conditions at checkout now, because I have a whole page about shipping and policies that, okay, if you're just browsing my website and you're not even thinking about that, you're not going to go to that page to read it. So I'm like, let me add this to the checkout. Let me put this across the top of the website so people can not say that they didn't see it, but I still feel like people don't read it. And I'm just like, you cannot be mad at me because you didn't read. But at the same time, if you order from anybody else, y'all are not contacting them 2 days later asking what's the status of your order. I feel like y'all are only doing that to me because I'm a quote unquote small business and my face is attached to this business. So y'all feel like y'all can just be in my emails or be in my DMs or whatever. And I'm just like, y'all really don't understand that y'all are prolonging your order. Okay. The more emails that I have to respond to in the morning, the less time that I have to do everything else. I'm like, if y'all would just read the website before you check out, thoroughly, you know. If you do have an actual question, cool, but sometimes it's just like y'all really slowing the process down even more.
I did not know people did that. Like when I order from, like I've ordered from you and I've ordered from like other businesses that were just starting. It's never even occurred to me to email the business. I'll just wait. Like I'll literally just wait for the next email. Never done that before.
Yeah, but like you said,
I get it all the time, girl.
Yeah, because like you're the face of the brand, so like people like feel like they can contact you with any question they have.
Yes. Yes. Yes to all of the above.
Just not like that.
It's just not. I'm like, it's been 4 days and you ordered 500 tubes. It's been 4 days. Like, I think that people don't understand, like, you know, there is a processing time because of the fact that I do have other orders and I have to prioritize everyone. Like
that too. People think they're the only customer.
Literally, I'm like, you're not the only one. So I have to prioritize everybody's order. So that's why I do orders in the order that they are received in. So I'm like, that's why my processing time is set up the way it's set up. That's why I have you agree to it and, you know, hoping that you actually read something that you're agreeing to. But I mean, we're all the CEOs of agreeing to the terms and conditions and not reading them. I'm not even going to lie about that. But if you're ordering something and there's terms and conditions, that's different than if you just got your new Apple update or whatever. Yeah, that's like not the same thing. It's not the same. I'm like, you're spending your money. You are expecting a product. I'm going to need you to know how long you're going to be waiting, how the process works. Like, I try to be very open and transparent about it. But, you know, you still get those few that are in my emails and stuff like that. But I was just wondering because I genuinely know that y'all are not ordering from Fenty and emailing Rihanna. Like, I just know y'all are not doing that. I just know y'all are not emailing Rihanna after 2 days of ordering Fenty. Like, where's my lipstick, sis? So
I ain't even gonna lie, because I had ordered a shirt from Big Sean's website. And this was like when the album first came out. When was that? That was like last month or the month before. But like the shirt, I didn't like get an email like about the shipping yet. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go check the website and see, because I didn't even know like when the shirt would be shipped or anything. I just figured it'd be like 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. And I checked the website and it said like 5 to 6 weeks. Ooh. So I was like, all right, I'll wait. but I didn't DM Big Sean like, hey, what's the status on this shirt?
Hello.
I went back to the site and I checked and it was right there. So hello. 5 to 6 weeks.
Hello. I literally have these long, nice, beautiful product descriptions. And like I said, I have my shipping and policies page. But, you know, people just...
I'm just not bold enough. Like, I'm not trying to bother the person. Like, I'm just like...
That too.
That's why I'm literally going to try every other route before I email the person. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
That is so funny. But, you know, I'm just responding to everyone. I'm like, as stated on my website, blah, blah, blah. Just, you know, being professional. But just making it known, again, like, this information is here for you. Because I feel like some people, like, they get really irritated because they just don't know. And I'm like, y'all, like, please just take 5 minutes to read. Go to my website and read, because so much information is just there for you. That's just like people that are asking me questions on my videos or whatever, like waiting for people to respond about things that are easily searchable. Like, you can easily just use Google and get the answer. It's just, you're wasting your own time too. So sometimes you have to go out and get the information yourself versus waiting for someone to hand it to you. But please read all terms and conditions before you purchase from somebody's website, before you send them an email 2 days later, because...
At least skim it.
At least do a little quick skim.
That's your money. You can't play with your money.
Right. That's why I'm like, if I am spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on somebody's website, I need to at least feel confident in my purchase to know, like, okay, you know, some people are like, hey, I just wanted to know if you received my order, and they literally send me their order confirmation. And I'm just like,
what? Why?
Did you receive my order? I'm like, if you had an error message that came up or it looked like your order didn't go through, but you're literally sending me a screenshot of your email confirmation. Oof. And you're asking me if I received your order.
It's sad.
I received it. Thank you so much for shopping. I love y'all so much, but I'm just like, do y'all do this to other businesses or is it just me? I just want to know. I'm just genuinely curious to know if it's just because I'm out here selling something and y'all have a connection with me that y'all feel like y'all just want to talk to me or y'all want to make sure or like what. But
honestly, I feel like every business probably has like a handful of people that do that. But I feel like sometimes once you get like really, really big, you already got people that are just kind of sifting through. They're like, all right, this is not important. Like,
deleted. Next.
Yeah. I feel like it has to exist in most businesses.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know everyone gets like spam and everything, but I don't know. I was just wondering. I just know like me as a customer, I'm not that type of person. I'm not that kind of shopper. So I just be trying to know,
Cool. So the last question is, what is your favorite thing about your job right now?
Honestly, okay, so I do consider myself a morning person, but I do like that I have, like, I say, like, I work, like, 9 to 5, but it's a day rate, so I have the flexibility to start whenever, just as long as I finish it during the day. I like that. Like, I just kind of control when I start, when I finish, and I'm not having somebody, like, breathing down my neck to get me to finish. So I like being a little bit in control.
So I think right now what my favorite thing is about my job is that I'm kind of like at a point now where I'm hitting so many different milestones. So I've been creating things that I love. I've been consistent with it. I'm almost at my 1-year anniversary. Just like the journey itself, like I'm telling y'all, it's worth the struggle. Like it's worth the process, because when you get somewhere and you look back to where you came from, it's just so rewarding. Like I cried the other day because I was like, oh my God, my 1-year anniversary is coming up and this business has literally changed my life like in less than a year. So yeah, you will get emotional, good emotions, but it's just, it makes me really happy. And also that I have, a little bit of that control that Drew was talking about, a little bit of that freedom. Like I'm kind of creating things that I love. Like I'm not putting out anything that I don't like. I'm calling the shots about what's going out and what's not. So I just think full creative control and the journey. That's what I like about my job right now. I have things to look forward to. I have goals that I've set, for the future and just pushing myself to reach those goals.
Cool. Yeah, that was all the questions.
Oh, that was the last question.
Oh.
Well,
that was a good thing to finish on.
I feel like it too, right? That was a good last question. I hope you guys really enjoyed this talk that we had today. I just feel like we're continuing to inspire every single episode. That is the goal of the show. I want to thank Drew for being here in the building with me today and sharing your story and a little bit about, your experience right now. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow me, Drew, and Devin on all of our social media. I will have everything linked down below for you guys. Make sure you're shopping Smudge Cosmetics, shopping Crochet by K. If you need any animations, hit Drew up, okay? If you need any, look, Devin, can they hit you up too, Devin?
I mean, they already hit me up about like
intros, exactly. Logos. Listen, y'all, Devin does all the graphics. Y'all asking me about graphics. I don't know anything about that stuff. That is Devin's job, okay? But make sure you follow all of us. Everything will be down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Road to 20K. I am bursting with excitement if you can't already tell. Make sure you follow me on all of the podcast platforms and leave me a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in episode 10 for another milestone episode. Bye.